All right. So a lot of people don't like to admit, and you know, it is what it is. But loving black women is extremely hard because of the verbal wars they fabricate. And here's what I mean. I grew up at a time where, when I was a little kid, afros were still around. They were starting to fade out, but afros were still around. And everybody was calling each other kings and queens. Now, I grew up in a Black Panther, Black love city. Okay. And there was not a lot of crime. Okay. And what I didn't realize was that there were teenagers and college students called the Black Panthers trying to fight for kids and fight for family, Black family. This isn't going on. And you know what's so amazing is when people critique the Panthers, they critique the Panthers from several states away, having no understanding of what the Panthers actually did or what the Panthers went through. I would get lunches at the local recreation centers sponsored by the Panthers, not knowing that it was these Black college students and high schoolers getting that. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at 2020 now, what people are doing with all this wealth is they're just attacking each other and being angry for the sake of being angry. You know, um, and these are Black folks. This is why I said a lot of times you can't even blame white folks angry. You know, you can't even blame white folks for what's going on because if you compare it to the teenagers and college students of the Black Panther period before crack cocaine, then you know you just don't have a lot of comparison. Women try to fabricate that there was some energy going on between men and women at that time, but that's a fabrication. You don't have anybody from the actual female Black Panther experience saying that stuff. And this is my message today for this video. It's so hard to love Black women in 2020 because you got guys telling you to hell with your life. You should die just so a Black woman can elevate. To hell with your life. You should be homeless just so a Black woman can elevate. That's their mentality, some of these guys, because they've been trained to say that your own children don't matter as long as a woman elevates. I've literally had conversations with dudes who believe that kids don't matter as long as a woman elevates. What sense does that make? Because if women are shining and the kids are not benefiting other than having a roof over their head, and they just left to the streets, the cycle starts all over again. I've literally seen women have great careers, but their kids are homeless on the streets, but they're getting in a BMW. Yet we critique these men. So it's this community doesn't get fixed by by what's going on right now. It doesn't get fixed like this. Um, it's very difficult to love women in this time period because the number two thing is when Black men are trying to elevate, and I'm one of those Black men who went from warehouse security, uh, factory work, and got into management and office work. And along the way, majority of my enemy was not white. It was Black women trying to stop me from getting hired, Black women interviewing me and critiquing me on a level that white folks don't even critique me on. No, I want y'all to really understand that because This is why I wish more women would have intellectual conversations with me. Because when they do, I've had a couple over here. When they do, they find it hard. What's going on, Jay Jones? Would you like to come up and talk, Jay Jones? Let me know. I'll send you the link. What I really think women need to have more conversations with me because I'm not mad at them. It's just that when you're dealing with women who are undisciplined and don't understand how war or battles are operated, uh, it's depressing. It's really depressing. I'm gonna put the link in the chat room for you to do that. So it's very hard to love women because, like I said, this is my second example. If you just came in, hit the thumbs up for me, please, and scroll to the front so you can hear everything I'm saying, not just come in late and only hear a piece of it. So I'm a person who I adore Black women from a distance, because I'm too fearful to approach or speak with many of them because it's so chaotic 75% of the time. 25% of the time is great. I'm dealing with a regular human being. I'm dealing with a person on a great level, but I tend to get a little bit fearful for this second reason. Welcome, Jay Jones. I'm gonna let you speak in a minute. Black men' number one concern, even though they don't like to say it, even though they don't realize it, is economics. Do you know who blocks us the most? Black women. You will have 25% of Black women assist us. That is valid. So a good 3 out of 10 are assisting us, maybe 2 out of 10. For some guys in their life, they've only seen 1 out of 10. They see guys help women all the time, but won't even help their own sons. Now, that kind of creates something within a dude intellectually. A dude feels like, well, I'm never going to be able to elevate because I, I, I can't deal with the constant BS in these office jobs, in these management jobs. And I understand a lot of it comes from women. And then to you have a man coming in to defend the mistreatment this woman is doing and not holding this woman accountable. It's rough. Now, my last point before we let Jay Jones speak, and the sad thing about it, throughout my career, white women and white men have fought for me against Black women. It's the craziest thing. Jay Jones, what are your thoughts?
First off, good morning, Mr. Research. Can you hear me?
I hear you well. Go ahead, sir.
Thanks for
Antisocial, please hit the link and come up. Antisocial. Go ahead, sir.
thanks for having me. I agree with what you said. I think that from my experience, I think that black ladies, have a thing of two things. One, mistrust, um, and two, I think that they have freedom. And when you add those two together in the black community, mistrust and freedom, I think you get, like you were saying, black women versus black men. Um, my experience, both from family, school, college, work, I've definitely experienced, ladies against you. But I've also experienced ladies that helped me as well. I think a couple of my mentors were ladies, and I think that I try to focus on them and the work that they do above the work that the other ladies do. I'll take the ladies aside just for a second in this. So I'm 28 years old. I've been working. I work in workforce development. I officially broke in when I was 25 years old, and um, my biggest problem, yeah, was some black women on the job, but it was also black men. Right now, what I see or what I'm going through now is an older black man who's been in the field for about 20, 30 years. Um, and please tell me where I'm wrong at or if you've experienced this as well. But he is so petty. And I mean, the level of petty that this man is, I don't know what happened to him before, but I just think to myself, wow, this is what black women have been dealing with. and that's when I kind of go, oh, okay, this is why black women act the way they act. Please tell me what you think. Oh, hello? Yeah, I was finished making my point. I just wanted to say that and then get some feedback if I could.
Yeah. I was trying to set something up. So here's the thing. You are right. There are good 25, 30%, 3 out of 10 women who are righteous and nurturing. Applause to them. Okay. Antisocial is a very nice lady from the UK. Tyra Richburg, Naima Buckner. But then there's the 70%. And 70 is double what the 30% is. So let's talk about the guys. That's what you just said. Guys, unfortunately, they have three things going on. Many guys have not spent a lot of time around dudes. You got to understand that. That's real talk. Many guys have not spent a lot of time. There are more incels walking around here than warriors. Shannon Sharp is an incel. Can you tell?
I could not tell. Please enlighten me.
Okay, so Shannon Sharp revealed if Shannon Sharp he's never said nothing anti-black, so I'm not going to uh, disparage him, but this is an example, and this is also why I say black guys who date white women, you got to lead them too. That's why you just can't blame black women. A lot of times, it's your leadership is trash. So Shannon Sharp, as big as he is, as good as he talks, is not a good leader in his household. Okay, I'm about to get to the incel part because I want you to keep thinking about Shannon Sharp and his verbal expressions as I say this. Shannon Sharp married to a white woman. The white woman in 2019 is in his household, cheating on him, and is pregnant by a black a black Latin player while she's still living with Shannon, and leaves Shannon in 2018 to go be with the NFL, to go be with the baseball player, and has the baby in 2018. That's a person that's not involved in his wife's life like that. Now, further proof, her name is Kelly. Further proof, Shannon Sharp himself said on the interview, he is a pretty boring guy. He watches movies all day when he's not working and plays with his 3 dogs. Period. What are your thoughts on what Shannon Sharp said about himself?
I think that I think that it's what a typical adult does, but I think that and this is just me speculating, and I think if we can get a lady's perspective on what she thinks, I think what I've noticed educated dudes tend to do, they'll say that, but they'll
Wait, wait,
say,
wait,
"Oh,
wait,
I
wait,
don't
wait,
see
wait, wait,
this
wait, wait, wait.
as
Before you go down that road, I understand you about to make a
yep."
comparative speech, but what do you think about his
Mhm.
actions of his daily life?
Oh, I think it's healthy. I think that it's that's what you're supposed to do, and I'm sure he takes time to enjoy, like taking the trip somewhere
But you don't think that's
as well as
but you
make
don't
more
think
money.
that's
I remember a video.
but wait. You don't think that's incel
Say it
behavior?
one more time.
You don't think that's incel behavior?
You mean like going like just going to the movies or what?
No. The movie's at his house and playing with his dogs at his house. He doesn't have a hobby. He doesn't have activities. He doesn't really go nowhere or do nothing. You don't
Oh,
because
right, right.
I'm trying to
Oh,
get the
well, you
point
mean like
about
he's not social?
incel behavior compared to what you see him on TV
Gotcha. I
screen,
see. Yeah,
and the fact that his wife
got you. Oh, so you're
is.
saying what he does outside? Mhm.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I think my
It's all right.
my
Don't
app
worry.
is lagging a little bit. Oh, if you're saying, I see what you're saying. You're saying that. basically outside of work, he has no life for the most part. It's his dogs, his movies, no type of social
Exactly.
life, no type of social status.
So my only point, I'm gonna let you make your speech, but my only point is that here's a guy who looks like he's an alpha, and he is an alpha at work on TV screens, but in his life, his wife is like, I need to be somewhere else. In his life, he's self-described as, I don't really do much. And I wanted to stop you before you go into the speech. The issue is there's a lot of dudes, going back to what you said about the guy you was working with, who don't do nothing in life but go to work and come home. So part of that attacking other men comes from that. The second thing about that guy that you work with could be he's female identified, meaning that he has a lot of smoke for men. I've interacted and counseled dudes who didn't even understand why they had a lot of energy for men, but none for women. That's because they've been trained subliminally to have empathy for women only. So I was just wanted to get to that before you get to your speech and explain that's what you could be going through with that particular guy. He may be so incel that he only goes to work and come home. There's a lot of dudes like that. Or he's been subliminally trained to be anti-male and he don't even realize it. But go ahead, what you were saying. I'm not going to interrupt you. There you go. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Jones. Okay, while Mr. Jones gets it together, just refresh your page, Mr. Jones. Maybe that'll help you. Um, I didn't want to cut Mr. Jones off. I just wanted to not let that good information get away about the person he was dealing with. Um, okay, Mr. Jones, go ahead.
Uh, all
Go
right.
ahead,
So I
Mr.
think I
Jones.
was I'm on my phone and
No
my
worries.
TV, so I gotta get off of one.
No worries.
Yeah.
No
So
worries.
what I think is I agree with you. I think that that's a great point you make, that a lot of dudes are incels, and that is incel behavior. One thing I'm fortunate of, with my mother, my mentors, they always taught me, or told me at least. And then if you are around women in general, they make time to enjoy life, and I think that's one thing that I would say fellas have to do. A lot of your problems that you have with ladies is that, like you said, you don't enjoy life. You go straight to work and straight home. My professor, back when I graduated, I was, when you're growing, you go through whatever you're going through. She was telling me, you can't just go to work and go home. That's the quick way to depression. And it sure enough was. Me, I would go to work, go home, go to the liquor store. We used to drink E&J back in the day. I would get E&J or whatever, and then knock the whole bottle off throughout the week, get another bottle throughout the weekend. And like you said, that messed up. I wouldn't say I'm female identified, but it just put me in a bad mood at work. Um, what I started doing, and I noticed, once you start doing this, you have a better perspective and disposition when it comes to ladies. I went and did karate. Um, now it was a good experience. I didn't plan on being a martial arts master or nothing like that, but it added some type of depth to me, and also I
Discipline.
got to meet new people. Yep, discipline, exactly. Yep. After karate, for a time, I did CrossFit. Now I'm not going to the U.S. Olympics, but I got to
More
meet new
discipline.
people. It was another experience that I got. After CrossFit, I took up boxing.
More
And in
discipline.
all three cases, oh, say it again.
More discipline. More discipline. More discipline. Exactly.
Right.
This is what men are supposed to
And
do. Once you've mastered the acts, You pick up the sword. Once you've mastered the sword, it don't matter how great you are, pick up the spear just because. Yes, go ahead, sir.
Correct. Yep. And along with that, it gave me something to bring to work. So if it's like a cohesion event, some type of let your hair down event that they need, I say, hey, we can do this. It's productive. It's fun. You get to act like a boxer or whatever, and it's impressive to ladies that you have something going on outside of work. 2 years last 2019, when I turned 20 for my 27th birthday. I was supposed to go with my friends. I took a trip to Jamaica by myself, and I didn't think it was that much of a big deal. For me, it was something that I just had to do. I bought my plane tickets. I did an Airbnb. I had for like a week. I went out to Jamaica for my birthday, and when I came back, you know, I didn't, like I said, I didn't notice it, but it's just how you carry yourself is a little bit different. It's a little bit more accomplished, a little bit more lax, a little bit more, a little bit. You have something to live for, I say, outside of work, and that's what ladies tend to gravitate to. Um, to go back to what you were saying about Shannon Sharp's behavior. Um, I think fellas, especially educated dudes, over the past, unless you were in the rap or sports or something like that, fellas didn't think that you can be. Well, they called us. You can be square and still enjoy life, and I'm like, that's the furthest thing from the truth. In fact, in my opinion, I think it's easier to be square and enjoy life this way because you're not so high profile. Um, and also, you don't have to. You can schedule your trips. What I'm learning to do now is schedule my trips. So I got 3 trips coming up. Knock on wood, next year. You can schedule your trips, and it's a little bit easier to adjust as a 9 to 5 dude going on trips. Just stuff like that.
Right. So the point that's being made here with Mr. J. Jones is he has created something within himself that allows him to identify himself beyond women, which is 7.0 thinking. You're thinking about power and other stuff and enhancing your knowledge base. Not that you're going to be a champion at whatever or master whatever, but you're being exposed. And that's why I use words like exposed. Going back to the topic though, ladies who don't understand a renaissance man like Jay Jones is going to have difficulty with a man like Jay Jones, which leads to further frustration for some of us. If Jay Jones got to get to karate class and she wants attention, sweetheart, Wednesday is karate thing. Self discipline yourself so that I don't have to be in this extra conversation. You're making it hard to love you. You know, I've dropped karate class and now I'm picking up samurai class. Don't get me in a conversation that I'm not sticking to one thing. I'm a human. This is my life. I want to be exposed when I'm not interacting with you and maybe the kids. Why are you putting me in this extra conversation? Because many of these other women who I prefer not to be with have a class level that they understand. Hey, I'm not getting cheated on. I'm not getting punched in the face. My man is okay. He's quirky, but I'm dealing with Jay Jones. This is the problem, according to the title, why it's so difficult sometimes loving black women because we're in these extra fabricated wars, which is my point, Jay Jones. Not all women, as we said, 30% of women are great, 3 out of 10. But you got these other women who just, they want war all the time. And when they're not having war, you say to yourself, lady, when are you going to fix your eyes on the white woman and how the white woman is taking your jobs? Your daughters are working at men jobs now. When the last time what state are you in, Jay Jones?
I'm in Philadelphia, PA, and you're
Okay,
always
so
you're always welcome to come if you don't want to take it.
I got a couple of people in Philly. I got to drive out there. I know Naima Buckner's out there too. Um, yeah, I got to take a trip out there just to touch down. Uh, yeah, but you see, you're in a very brown and black place, so it's a little bit different. But I go to different states, man, and I see the black woman getting pushed out of the office. J. Joe, I see the black woman, her white woman friend has turned against her, and now she's replaced the black woman with Latins and Indians. And most of the black women I see now are in man related jobs. What are your thoughts on the other part of the country outside of Philly, sir?
I definitely agree. I think now I say what I say hurts black people, um, mainly black women. I think that it's that 18 through 24-year-old period. So me, when I was 18 through 24 years old, that's when I got quote unquote woke. And I remember I just buried myself into, just learning Black history, Black culture, and everything. It gave me a foundation to form my identity. So, from 18 to 24 was learning. 25 through 30 years old, it was geared towards, I had a foundation that I could build off of. Whereas before I was young, learning stuff like that. Now I'm a professional and I have that layer of quote unquote being Black identity under my professionalism, which it's always going to help you in your career. The thing with ladies is that they don't, um, when it comes to, I guess, work in the office, they have that part down packed. There is no culture that they can bring to the office like everybody else that they can bring to the potluck outside of maybe cooking macaroni and cheese that they can share with a multicultural work environment. Whereas the Asian, if you got an Asian coworker, they can definitely, bring the Asian arts. The Indian person can bring stuff from India, and I think that ladies, black ladies, don't know that's what's going to help you advance in your careers. That's what's also going to help you um, advance in your career, but stay balanced as well as build relationships, personal and professional. Because, like I said, you never know. You can find somebody. Hey, you do that. I like that too. I think with ladies, what I'm noticing now is 23 through about 27 is geared towards young black degenerate culture. And if it's not that, if you're not listening to NBA YoungBoy or I can't keep up with who's out now, um, when you got to grow up eventually. It's harder for you to grow up 27 through 34. That's when they want to start. When it's time to be a professional, they want to start. Oh, we got to do astronomy. Oh, we got to do this. Oh, we got to do mental health counseling. And I think that they forget that the main objective is to make money. And so you're doing all this different stuff, all this different healing and spirituality and stuff, and you forget the main objective is so that you can make money. And uh, uh, to fill that in, that's where the white girl will come in, the Asian girl will come in, Spanish girl will come in with a culture that they can relay on, as well as being focused on doing the job. Sorry, that was a little long
Now,
winded, but that's just
now,
what I.
now, I will disagree a little bit. As an international man, your 20s is not to make money. Your 20s is to be internationally exposed. Your 30s is when you make money. Your late 20s and your 30s is when you make money. You got to be internationally exposed. This is why so many people overseas go backpacking across the country and they're 22 and 24. This is why so many people in England hop on a train and go spend 5 months in Belgium and 4 months in Beirut. That's what you're supposed to do. This is why Alexander the Great conquered everywhere before he made 24. This is why uh, uh, Napoleon did what he did at 28, 32 years old. Because what you're supposed to do is be internationally exposed. And if you can't travel, you at least need to get into these encyclopedias to understand stuff outside of making money. I think that's the problem because what happens is, especially with women, this is just my interpretation. I'm going to ask you what you think. But women who focus on get the bag, get the coin, By 35, 45, they're unhappy and they haven't traveled. This is why so many women have careers or what have you, but they have no international way of thinking about things. They believe Jay Jones is supposed to obey her because 400 other guys in Philly allowed her to do what she wanted to. I talked to three women last night before I went to sleep. The younger lady who wants to be on my team, she says, I'm spoiled, but I notice with you, you're not going to allow that. And I don't know how that's going to work. And I said, well, I'm going to tell you how it's going to work. You're going to deal with how I'm leading, or I won't be involved. And see, that shocked her system because she had never heard a man let her know that her beauty and sexuality had nothing to do with how this relationship's going to go. What are your thoughts, sir?
I completely agree. I think, and to go off of what you said about, the not being traveled, or going so far in their careers not being happy. A big part of your career is what you do outside of work. It's the people you meet outside of work. Here, I'll try to make this story as short as possible. So at my last job, I worked at a career training school, and the center director, the deputy director, and the training curriculum director, they all knew each other. All white males, all older white males, but they all knew each other. And if you didn't, if you didn't pay attention, you wouldn't notice it. But I figured out that at some point, and it was another guy. He was retiring when I first came on, but he was in the loop too. Um, at some point in their careers, and this is me speculating, but I feel like at some point in their careers, they made a plan. I'm going to do this, you do that, you do that. We'll do what we got to do so that way we can all work together to be at the top. I kind of see ladies doing this now. Um, I think that they might they're not I guess as strategic in what they do now. Um, but I think that a big part of being happy in your career is what you do out. Is the people you meet outside, where you find people that you can be productive with. Um, this hurts black people because I think ladies tend to have this perception on what black masculinity is about, um, in those 20s and then come into late 20s, that fellas try to subscribe to. But like I said, once you come 26 through 30, you can either become, like you say, 7.0 Renaissance man, or you can become the cool uncle with the sneakers that knows all the latest music. And I think that that's, uh, 30 years old, you can't, it's not as cool. 32, 33, 34 years old, the lady can't use you outside of maybe if she's moving and she needs some cheap labor to help move her stuff or gut her walls out, for renovation for a place. I try. What I'm learning now is that's not where black ladies need help at from black men. Black ladies need help from black men when it comes to, one, an outlet from work that because they do work with a lot of white women. If we can, I can talk about that. My experience seeing that, but an outlet from work, someone that can give them some type of career guidance, and someone that they can collaborate with for projects, whether in work or outside of work. I think that's why they tend to be a little bit more, like you say, unhappy. But also, I do try to keep my feet at the fire. I try to keep black men's feet at the fire. I say, you got to know to grow up. As a black man, you have to know to grow up. You don't go to work to change the narrative. You don't go to work to fit in. You don't go to work to make friends. You go to work so that you can make as much money as possible, um, so that you can enjoy life, whether it's take care of your kids or take care of your family, whatever. Your whole purpose in life is to, as you say, become powerful. You can't become powerful by being cool. Future, Drake, Jay Z, Lil Wayne, those are the guys from my era. Trippy Red, they get paid to look cool, as in that's their job, as in there's a stylist, a public relations person, an artist, a promoter who gets paid so that way they have an image to look cool. You're not getting paid to wear those new Jordans. You're not getting paid to put on the Amiri shirt. You're not getting paid to look like that. In fact, you're paying to look like that. And that money that you could have put into whatever a project or whatever, you're putting that into something that's not going to mean anything in a couple of years. And like I said, you're just going to become that uncle with the cool sneakers who knows the latest music.
Let me interject and try to marry that to the title. You know, if you're a woman who is trying to please your girlfriends, but your children are failing in junior high, whose problem is that? If you're a lady that's shining for your girlfriends on TikTok, twerking for your girlfriends, but now your daughter got to go to a GED night school, whose fault is that? And this is what makes it scary because the non-black women, majority of them, are willing to leave their job. I don't know how many times I've been around white women who have left their job to make sure their children are doing better in school. You know, I had one lady, she was making six figures back in, what was that, 1999. She's going to leave Humana. I was working at Humana. She's going to leave Humana because my son needs me. My husband will be able to take care of the finances and stuff. I got to focus on our child. Do you hear that? That that is like a dream. That's like a dream. And so what I'm saying with this, and I've invited probably like 30 women to come on. I know it's early morning, but I just don't understand how I'm supposed to fight for those women who have such mountainous of issues. And in my own life, I don't see it reflected. Let me give you another example, and you tell me what you think. For example, my own sisters. I adore my sisters, my blood sisters, but they go out their way to be enemies. And it's confusing to me and my mother because we're like, where is that coming from? My mother had to intervene one time and said, why are you saying that to your brother? Your brother has nothing to do with any of that. And my sister would be like, well, I was told. And I'm like, why didn't you just ask? I'm your brother. Second time it happened, Jay Jones, I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. You guys are going overboard. You're saying stuff that ain't relevant and you're assuming a lot. Still love my sisters, but I gotta love them from a distance. I tried to give one of my sisters two jobs. Okay. Because like I said, it ain't enough to just work. You got to be able to affect your family. I'm trying to give my sister work. She ain't want it. Now her husband has died. Now she's homeless, staying at a homeless shelter. You had every opportunity. So this is the thing I talk about a lot of times with trying, when I say trying to love black women, it's that complexity of she wants to do what she wants to do, even if it damages the family. Can you speak to that part, Jay Jones? Educate me. Where did I get it wrong?
Well, I remember on your show a couple of weeks ago, I was in the gym listening, and you were talking about at one point in time, I think it was either our great grandparents or our grandparents. It was no way they would think that their daughters would trade on the community. Do you remember that show?
Yes, sir.
It was.
What I said was the grandfather taught my dad that take care of the women because they're not allowed to have regular jobs and blah 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 blah. The right to vote is when women finally were allowed to work outside of just cleaning the white woman's thing, and that happened in 1960. Black women don't realize they just really got the right to work in some of these places, and they're losing it now to the Indian woman. But go ahead with your point.
Uh, I, So what I somewhere along that line between 1960 and I say maybe 93, 94. That's when I was about 1 or 2 years old. I would say 98 or 99 is when I also noticed it. Um, it became cool to not succeed, and I don't blame hip hop per se, but I think that there was no one to tell young black people like, hey, it's cool to be rebellious when you're young. You got to grow out of it. I think a lot of people, it starts off rebellious and it's cute and it's a lot of energy and it's all of that, but rebelliousness will turn into self sabotaging. So whereas before it was just like, hey, 1989, I think that's when the Fight the Power song came out, and you're all against the system. You grow up and it goes into whatever opportunity someone might afford you that will cause you to humble yourself in the beginning. You tend to shut it down. I'm a listener of SWP, and he was talking about how his father was invited to the poker games with the white dudes at one point, and he couldn't. He stopped going because he felt some kind of way about not having the finances to do so, to be able to keep up. And I was just like, you sabotaged yourself because all you had to do was take a couple losses, learn the game a little bit, or get somebody who you can who's good at poker. They can represent you, and then put them in the game. To bring it back to the ladies, I think that in my experience, my relationships, what I see at work, what I see in schools is the same thing. You have an opportunity. You can be that boss bitch. You can be the diva. You can be Beyonce. You got to humble yourself now so that you can get the win in the long run. I remember a couple shows ago that you had, you said that ladies get the security from their sons. And that is one of the most truest things that I've heard on the internet in a while. Um, yeah, you have to sacrifice. Well, one, I wouldn't recommend sleeping around with a bunch of men anyway, but you got to sacrifice that need, that desire to want to be wanted and touched and felt by anybody and everybody, and just like I said, make that commitment. All marriages or most marriages fail anyway. You'll probably, you might get divorced, but if you can get some type of investment, I don't mean to make having a family financial like this, but some type of investment for your future, someone to help you take care of yourself. I don't want to say take care of you, but help you take care of yourself. You can definitely win the game. But I noticed ladies would rather stick together with each other and struggle and struggle and struggle and struggle. My mom does as well with my aunts, struggle with each other as opposed to separating from the batch. And again, humbling yourself out, learning as much as you can learn from a young man or an older man, get put in a position of power, and you could win the game, to win the marathon.
You know what? Men are very mathematical. If I was a woman, I would simply find the shortest. I don't care if I'm 6'6". I would find the shortest, insecure, mass producing man that I could, especially black guy. Okay. And make him feel like making a speech. Because of my wife, I am the man I am today. That's all a woman's job is to find the highest producing dude. That's her whole existence. Find the highest producing dude. Mexicans do this all the time. Haven't you seen very beautiful Latin women with almost grotesque looking Mexican men? And they think nothing of it. You
Yeah.
know why? You know why? Because as an international thinking Mr. Research, I have seen it from Belize all the way to France. Women pick winners regardless of how they look because beauty fails. Let me say it again. Because beauty fails. You are going to be in a situation, woman, where that 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old look is going to look like 70. And the non-black woman realizes her look is going to crash early and fast. I need to, at 6'6", hypnotize this 5'2" guy This 6 foot guy, this because he's a producer. Even most white women, when they pick black guys, there's two things that they do. They either pick black guys for sexual fun because they don't value sex like that. Black guys value sex. Let me say it again. White women don't value sex. Black guys value sex. White women just use you as a human dildo. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Play time. But never assume that she feels that when it comes to a power move, that she won't do what Shannon Sharp's wife has done. Deuces. She won't do what Tim Duncan's wife done. Deuces. Even the gay white guy, when he realized the gay football player, Michael, whatever his name, wasn't going to be making no money, deuces. Black people got to get out of this fantasy. They got to get out of this fantasy that everybody loves my 10 inches. Stop caring about your 10 inches. Because what you're going to do is be like every old man riding a bicycle right now. 60 years old riding a mongoose. That's because you spent all your time playing around, joking, sticking your penis and everything because, hey, I got a 10-inch penis. So what? But now you mad. Now you want to break into my house. Now you want to hop my fence and try to take my bicycle. Dude, what are your life choices? And the same thing is true for women, which is part of this title. I'm about to give you the microphone, Jay Jones. The same thing is true for women, which is part of this title. You don't want to do what other women are doing and pick the winner. You said that dude is lame. There's no Latin women calling other Latin dudes lame. There's no Russian women calling other Russian men lame. Nobody's doing that except the plantation woman. Everybody's scared to come up. Don't be scared to come up to the chat room, man. Go ahead and click the link. We can hold a discussion. Let's get intellectual. But let's not make this long speech of, yeah, but. No. I'm a brother that adores women, but it's extremely hard to love them when they're so anti-male. So I try to focus on the 30%, which is what Jay Jones said. But hey, even that is somewhat difficult. I got to fly all the way out to England to find somebody because it's that ridiculous now. Jay Jones, where did I get it wrong?
I think that I don't think you got it wrong anywhere. So what I've learned in my experience, now I'm older, I'm older than what I was when I first started dating, and I remember you said this once, it was a couple years ago. It's no argument, you know. This is take my leadership or leave. I think that for some reason, and I was taught this is why I came up with a single mother. I was taught this as well. You got to keep believing in somebody until they get it. Let me tell a story. I used to play football back in high school, and I'm from the county part of I lived on the border right next to Philadelphia, so all the people from Philadelphia were moving to my area to play football or whatever, and we were always a very talented team. But we never had a good record. My football coach, he used to, we had off-season workouts, but what he would do, he would curse and bitch and piss and moan and cry and just scream at the players who had potential. All off season, he would just it would be a fight, a wrestling match to get them just to come to the off season workouts. Um, and what they would do, they would jerk them around, come on, come off, and then when the season would come, they had great talent, but we would always have a horrible record. I say that to say, I think that, like I said, like you said, you just got to wolf away. Everybody has potential. I have potential. You have potential. The girl who is special. Everybody has potential. The minute you have somebody, especially a partner partner who sees your potential and tells you to utilize it, uh, you got to pick up on. I'm just saying, in the ladies' case, you got to pick up on that. Hey, this man, he might be 5'6", 5'7". He might be a little bit lame, but he sees something in me that I can be, that I don't even see in myself. Maybe I can be a good wife. Let me start taking steps towards becoming a good partner first, then hopefully becoming a good wife. And if I don't become a good wife, I took those steps to become a better partner. So my next relationship, maybe that'll be the one that I can become a wife or whatever I want to be. I think, fellas, you got to stop. What I told myself I was going to stop. I can't fight back and forth until you get it. If I keep waiting for you to get it, I'm going to miss out on one, what I got to do, what we got to do, and eventually we're going to grow apart and have nothing but bad feelings towards each other. Uh, uh, I got a friend. He black guy, and he's very, like you say, he's actually short. By the way, he's like 5'5". And we went to high school together, and he just got married. But guess what color his wife is?
Dark skin.
White. White. She's I wish she was dark skinned, but she her mother is from Barbados, her father was white. She came out super light, but from the time we were in high school, and I remember, girls used to make fun of him for his height. He was a little pudgy, so they used to call him Meatball. She was the only girl who, I mean, no one's perfect, but she's the only girl who stuck by him, supported his dreams. I remember when we all got to college, he was the program director for the school radio station.
See,
He had her on his morning show with him, and after that, he got a job. He worked at a mainstream radio station. He put her in the school to get her master's degree. She just graduated. I think she just graduated this year, but they moved out to DC. They're starting a life together. What she was smart enough to do, she has a friend. Um, uh, Her friend is, and I don't want to talk bad on black women. Her friend is a baby mom, two kids. I think the father is, I think he's in jail for about 10 years or so. I don't know how much time he has left, but two kids, and she was. I mean, they're still friends, but I remember she used to influence or try to influence her to be rebellious. But white girl, she played a part, and now she has, if nothing else, some type of security for at least the next 5 years. God willing, their marriage
and, and,
lasts.
and that's another point. We got to understand, gentlemen, marriage is a business. There are two popular male YouTubers getting divorced. They two guys just announced that they're getting divorced. What have you done with this marriage? Have you tripled your property? Have you created a second line of income with this woman? You mean you're getting divorced and you have nothing but your own personal account? Then you didn't lead this marriage. The whole point of getting married is to expand your situation. Marriage is not about love, gentlemen. Stop listening to women. It's not about love. Love comes after. Marriage is about family connections. That's the wolf way of doing it. Once you start listening to my wolf advice, you will stop being mad at women. I promise you. Because everything I'm saying will make sense. You'll be like, you know what? CA is fucking right. If I stop looking at chicks for the sake of busting a nut and just go to the brothel or go be a polyamorous dude or go to the freaking orgy, I am no longer mad at women because I no longer have to talk to them on the get the vagina level. You don't have to do it. You go find one woman who likes to deal with you and your penis. That's all you got to do. But guess what? You're going to have to pay to be in those type of environments. The website I use, or a couple of websites I use, I pay $100 to $160 a month. Mr. Jones. But guess what? Every lady I deal with on those sites, higher level caliber, and they understand the rules of what I'm trying to achieve. Now, 20% of those are scammers. But you know what I do, Mr. Jones? I don't care about your beauty. I slow roll everything when it regards to a woman because I need to know that you're willing to follow my lead. Did I do something wrong, Mr. Jones?
Absolutely not. I think I remember a couple years ago when you I first heard the video you said about getting an escort. Um, I say if you got younger dudes listening, the older you get, the more likely you will be getting an escort, married or not. Trust me. Uh, yeah, I think so many bad decisions are made with the threat of losing some vagina.
Right,
Um, and and when you look back on it, you'll be like, I did all that for some pussy. Like you said,
right.
this marriage, I'm getting divorced. I'm losing half of all I got. I didn't want to lose some pussy, and
Because you didn't
I'm
want
like,
to come off,
I've been
because you didn't want to come off for $200, $300.
and the thing, the good thing about, and I don't want to advocate for whatever, but
Yeah,
the
it's
good
not
thing about
education.
that is you pay that. Oh well, the good thing
No,
about
no,
it is she can
go
be
ahead.
whatever you want.
Well.
I
See,
was
the
saying the
same
good thing
thing.
about it is
Let me just say this because we got a small delay, but it's the same thing. I see women in Japan hiring gigolos. I see women hire gigolos. There's sites out here in America where women hire gigolos, but see, that's okay for a woman. Nobody gets mad at that, which is why these school teachers are going after teenage boys at high school. So, what I'm trying to say to guys is, and I remember when I first started talking about that escort stuff, everybody got upset. Now, half of the dudes are like, yeah, I just go do that because it always made sense. White dudes, Filipino dudes I work with go to the massage spa during a 1 hour lunch and they get something rubbed off and come right back to work. I'm not advocating anything. I'm saying, where is your priorities, black man? Sex cannot be that important to you where you get with a woman just for the sake of having sex and then you lose everything because you never wanted to be with her. Marriage is a business, gentlemen. Marriage is about you coming together with your family connections and her coming together with her family connection. What do you think a dowry is for? Go ahead, Jay Jones. Sorry to cut you off.
no, I think that perfectly correct. Marriage, it's this one couple I forget. They had a podcast, and one of the posts came up a couple months ago. It might have been last month, where he was saying, why should men be in a monogamous relationship if sex is going to be a problem? And I'm so sorry, I can't remember the podcast, but if anyone can find it, and when you look at it, she never had a clear answer on why sex was a problem. It was just life, got in the way of their sex life or whatever. Now, luckily for them, the marriage is working out. But I just think that fellas, I think a lot of times fellas don't understand that, like you say, marriage is a business. And unless you plan on going into business with this lady, first, is she a good business lady? How do you know she's a good business lady? Because like you're gonna have to do something other than have sex with this person. Um, which is why I say, if sex is on your mind, especially when you're young, go, take that money, like you say, the $200, $300, and you can have your fantasy, and you'll understand because a lot of times with these with my appointments, it's more than just sex. It'll go into counts, not so much counseling, but we get to talk. You get to release mentally all that's been on your brain for a while, and then that way you can come back down to earth. When you're in a relationship with somebody that you don't like, and sex is the only thing that holds you together, uh, you just mess up.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Um, but but to bring it back, to the title, why black women are against black men, I think it's because black men, I think women get it, on the lowest of like secrets. I think some part of black women get it. We're human beings, nothing is perfect. What I've noticed is it's black men who don't take that leadership role and be the responsible one. Going from when we're young and you're her guy friend, and you're stopping her from getting into relations with whoever because secretly you want to have sex. So when you grow older and it's time to build those connections for your career, to when you become an adult, and like I said earlier, you cannot help her unless it means you're helping her move or you're helping her demo a building out. You don't provide that assistance, that support. Sorry, you provide assistance instead of providing support that she can actually utilize.
Let me prove a point real quick, and I need to ask you a question, Jay John. So this happened maybe 2, 3 years ago. I'm at an orgy. Okay, there's 30 women at this orgy, probably 25. Two black dudes about to have a fight inside the orgy. Before I continue with this story, tell me what you think about this so far.
I think those dudes got to go. They got to go. One, on they're black, and we already got the exceptions on us. But I'm two. You had an orgy about to fight, man. That means that you got something else on your mind that maybe you shouldn't be having sex right now.
So the moral of this story, before I get to it, and it's going to be short. Where is your code of decorum? You're already getting what you want, what you said you want. What what are you doing to make this other human being upset? Why are you not policing yourself? And here's the answer. This is why I tell women all the time, stop getting caught up in how dudes look and their penis size. It's mental discipline. There are so many dudes who are older, built like Mack trucks, but got the mind of a 12-year-old. They make money, but got the mind of a 12-year-old. So here's this dude. He does something inappropriate to this other dude. You have now done something that may be cool with you in your world, but everybody ain't with that. And instead of you having the realization to say, I apologize, you're relying on your height to this other dude. And me personally, and a couple of white guys that were there, we now want to beat you for screwing up the scene. What are your thoughts, Jay Jones? Jay Jones dropped off. But here's the point I'm making. The black man who was there was screwing up the whole event. And the reason why I mentioned that on the stream is there's too many black men who say they want to live a particular fantasy. They want women to sexually obey them. But there's too many black men who get in those positions, and then you don't even know how to act with women or the environment. I'm not saying it to make people, I'm not saying people to mess with your religion or none of that. I'm saying there's something wrong. There's something, I don't know how much of you heard, Jay Jones, but the
Sorry
reason
about that. I got the
okay, I'm going to wrap up and let you get it. The reason why, gentlemen, I say that is there's too many of y'all who get your fantasy, you get the woman who will obey, and you still screw it up. We're about, me and a bunch of white guys about to beat the brakes off this black dude because of what he did to this other black dude. You messing up the whole event. Go ahead, Jay Jones. What are your thoughts? I said you got to go.
No, I was saying I agree with you totally. Like you were just saying, you have the fantasy of your dream right there in the palm of your hand, and you'll mess it up. And I'm but I think that this is where black males don't, uh, for whatever reason, maybe your third eye isn't open or what, but they can't see when life is good, and if life is going good, they gotta mess it up. I remember a couple, maybe earlier this year or late last year, the rapper The Baby. He's one of the new rappers. I'm not sure if you know of him, but the rapper The Baby was getting in trouble for punching people in the mall. And I mean, I'm certain that he cooled out now, but I'm just like, hey, man, just like that, you could punch the wrong person and either you'll get caught on camera getting beat up or you'll get taken for all your money. Tory Lanez, perfect situation. uh, you got you know the quarantine is on. You have a great mixtape out, and you're with the hottest girl that's in the rap. I think Meg Thee Stallion is definitely um, blown up right now, and whatever can happen. I remember you talking about this on your show a couple weeks ago. Uh, Nothing should make you even pull out a gun
For
with
what?
your security in the car. Uh, and just like that, not thinking, hey, life is good right now. Let me just excuse myself from this situation that can mess up my life. When you think like that, that's how your ladies are going to think. And it goes back to what we were saying earlier about ladies having a good opportunity and they piss on it. I think that that's a result of the fellas having a good opportunity and pissing on it the same way you were saying two guys were about to fight at an orgy with 25 to 30 women at your feet where you don't have to do much work to do what you got to do, but you can't see that because you want to be macho man.
No, 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 no. Not even macho man. You want to do what you want to do. You want to do what you want to do and think nothing about the repercussions of what you're doing because you believe you are who you are. Most of us in there finna mop you, black and white. See, that's the problem with a lot of dudes. But you know what? Let me go back to this one point about Tory Lanez. I have seen Tory Lanez backstage at some events twice, right? In an argument with other so-called shit talking rappers. Shorter Tory Lanez has punked out plenty of rappers. Ain't that amazing? Because he's so, however he done lived, he's so committed to hospitalizing you. Fuck his career. And what's so crazy is one of them got videotaped, but I happened to be around where it was. But one of them got videotaped, and somebody said something out of pocket to the dude. I'm like, why are you even speaking on this dude and his movements? And you don't know how committed this dude is to hospitalizing you. But that goes back to homeboy at the orgy. You you really think your muscles is going to stop this 5'4", 5'5", 120-pound dude from hospitalizing you? You'll be the first. You won't be the first one in ICU. You won't be the first one in ICU. What are your thoughts,
Correct.
Jay Jones?
No, correct. Especially if you know anything about short dudes, they have a little fire in them. And two, uh, uh, like you say, it's and I remember you said this a while back. So I listened to you for a long time. You said this a while back.
Appreciate,
Uh,
sir.
it was something like on the global scale, that stuff means nothing. Having the muscles, the swag, the all of that, it means nothing because when it comes to a global scale, everyone has connections. That person who you stroll on or whatever, or the person that threw the orgy or whatever, you don't know who they're connected to. And you could end up, like on training day at the end when Denzel got shot. First he got turned on by his hood, but then he got shot up. And you need to think. I just watched The Sopranos. You'll be surprised at who's connected to who and what they can
Right.
do to you. Um, and like I said, just because you have, if you want, that's why I don't think that fellas should keep going to the gym like we've been doing. Go more so for fitness and exercise as opposed to being, a big, strong guy. All of that means nothing. Like I said, you're at an orgy. She's going to love you. After she's done loving you, she's going to find the guy with the blue eyes who has dreamy blue eyes that she's going to fall in love over. After she's done with him, she's going to find the guy with the pot belly who she's going to fall in love with over.
All women go left.
All women, and you just I don't know what happened. I hope you guys got to have a good time. But just like that, you could potentially get the police involved. You don't know who's not supposed to be there.
Even worse than that, they'll stop inviting black dudes.
Yeah, ultimately, yeah.
And you mess it up for everybody.
Atlanta.
I've been down to trapeze in Atlanta.
No. Yes, did you watch that TV show Atlanta with Donald Glover?
Oh no, I have not watched season 1 or season 2, but I'm gonna have to get to that.
Please, if you, I've been trying to get you an email, see if you can analyze the character. I was waiting for you to do the Luca Brasi video if you ever got the time to. But if I was hoping that you could do.
I forgot to do the Luca video. Yeah. Just to paraphrase the Luca video, this is the dude that helped the Godfather actually come to power.
Yep.
Thugs are dispensable. Nobody really cares about thugs because the whole point is to be a founding father, a manager of other men. And so that's why I tell people 7.0, be a supervisor, manager, or owner. Don't get caught up in this, appearance of things. Let me get back to the title real quick so we can start closing out. The whole point in that we talked about, we kind of went off the rails, but the whole point that we talked about over the past 30 minutes is simply this. This is the complexity of men, just as me and Jay Jones was talking. For you as a woman to come in, you got to come in with the mentality that you're going to smooth all of that out. That you're going to show us a different way to tie our tie. You're going to show us the difference between a cotton blazer, a silk blazer, a rayon blazer, and a tweed. You're going to enlighten us on our presentation, even if we're already a good-looking guy. If you're not able to do these things, why are you there? It got to be your family connections. It got to be the fact that you are a master in your coal mining industry. You got all these coal mining connections, and I, as a black man, I see the possibility that if I get with you, with the thing that I do in machinery, I might be able to make some connections with the coal mine and stuff you got. If not, why, man? You ain't supposed to marry for business. You're supposed to marry for love, sir. Love comes after. You are infatuated with a person when you marry them. You're not in love with them. You call it love, but it's not love. You are impressed with their current representation. You are impressed with their current actor or actress. You're not in love. Love is deep appreciation. But you haven't done nothing with this person you married to appreciate yet. When you go through some type of medical situation and your wife's still there, that's deep appreciation. When your wife got to get her breast cut off and you still love her and feel she beautiful, that's deep appreciation. I have seen people leave their husbands and wives in ICU all the time. all the time. Put the ring on the bed. I can't do it. I'm out. I have seen husbands and wives get back together in the ICU. Woman got stabbed in the neck at the club. She making good money, felt like she can be without her husband. Guess what? Guess what? She almost died. 6-inch blade running her mouth with her girlfriend at the club. Who was the first person there? Her divorced husband. Beat her own parents there, and the parents stay closer than he does. Know what that chick did? Laying up there with the doctor telling her she almost lost her ability to speak because the blade almost hit the vocal cords. She pointed to that ring on her finger with tears in her eyes. Even though they've been divorced 3 years, she ain't never took that ring off. You know what she did when she recouped? Went back to that man. We got to stop playing. Jay Jones, you got the last 60 seconds, sir. Give me your thoughts as we start to close out.
Oh, thank you. I don't think I need six. I just my closing thought. I think that well, for one, thank you for inviting me on to talk. I think you touched everything as you always do perfectly. I try to get to these as much as possible when I can. But yeah, I would just say black men, your women, black women, they're a reflection of you. So we see these ladies do what they do and they're combative and they're against us and everything. Usually, when you look deep enough, you'll see she's just a reflection of her experiences, with the men that she's dealt with, usually black men. And I think that this period of whatever we're going through as a community, it will pass. But the only way that it will pass, I think that you need people like you, Mr. Research, to bring that, as you say, that new level of thinking to young dudes, so that way they can become, they can do the wolf way. Because the wolf way, in my opinion, is the only way. You'll see it in the TV. Like I said, you'll see it in TV shows, you'll see it in business, you'll see it wherever. But just I think that ladies are a reflection of us. So what they're doing is the result of what we are doing or we're not doing.
Right.
And then thank you for bringing me on too.
No problem. Thank you, sir. I'm gonna drop you down. Yeah, you guys. You know what? Here's the thing. The wolf way. I'm not mad at women. I'm never mad at women. Women try to say Mr. Research sound like a troll. Mr. Research. I'm harder on women than Obsidian. I'm harder on women than Tommy Sotomayor. I'm harder on women than anybody you can name. You know why? I don't care to mention them in a negative experience because I know how to drive past them. It's only the dudes who want to see women hurt who mention them the most. Let me say it again. It's only the guys that want to see women hurt who mention them the most. I don't care to see black women hurt. I can be disappointed driving past them, looking in my rearview mirror. I don't hate black women. And what I try to train you on this wolf way of thinking is you don't have to hate black women. You don't have to call them names. You don't have to hang around on panels that dudes are doing that stuff. Ultimately, it hurts the black community. Do you guys not realize that every time an independent black person goes out there making all his money, making all her money, you know what happens? The anti-blacks come against them. And you know what the first thing they do? Black community, help me. I've seen it in my own family. I saw a guy never spoke pro-black in his life. When them folks wanted to fire him, y'all doing it because I'm black. So what I say to the women, why I say it's so It's really hard to love black women. 30% of y'all are cool, but 70% y'all create these wars. You got colorism, you got thisism, you got feminism, and you just working for the white woman at this point. You just, I mean, none of these other women really care about the stuff you black women are fighting for. They just don't. That's why the white woman, she voted for Trump, and many of you black feminists got mad. Mad at what? Recognize what's happening. She's not operating the way she told you to operate. You get mad at these Pakistani women get beat with sticks by their husbands many times, not all the time. Do you see them making the same videos? No. Nope. Nope. And soon the Pakistani woman is going to be coming after your man because she sees more value. She's ready to give head on command. She always wanted to suck a black penis. Y'all, I don't understand what the end goal is here. And then for you dudes, stop attacking black women for fun. Stop going into these Twitter search. I saw a dude today, man. He's talking about black women. Dude, you only got 17 friends on Facebook. And you older than me, still looking at childlike cars, Chevys and shit. That's what I talk about incel. This is crazy, man. This is real crazy. Black community, we are destroying ourselves. We cannot blame the white people. We are creating wars on ourselves just for AdSense money and entertainment. It ain't even logical no more. And Africans, some of you Africans I talk to, you don't know your own African history. I know your African history better than you do. Some of you guys don't know American history, but you're constantly trying to use your black face to talk black. We're doing it to ourselves. Can't blame no white man. All right, you guys. Talk to you later. Thank you very much. And I'll try to upload some of the videos I did on my phone to the channel. Check out some of the prior videos that you may have missed. Thank you for the donation for people who donated on Cash App and PayPal. And catch you on the next video.